This video is about the scene editor for the Avena engine 2.0, which is in Blender 2.82. Let's start with the basics of what it can't do, which is it won't export geometry, it won't export textures, and it won't export material data, and anything in between like shaders and such. What it does is export attributes and instances. For example, position, rotation, scale, and such. The scene works with tags, which are these: Mesh OP, which stands for opaque geometry; Mesh TR, which stands for transparent geometry; Light, which stands for all lights on the scene; Camera, which stands for all cameras in the scene; Collider, which stands for all collisions in the scene. It usually is used for mesh colliders. Player Start, which is not specific to players, it just stores position and rotation of the first object within the tag group. Things that you're going to need before you start using the editor: you're going to need all your geometry already exported, all your textures already ready to be used, and within the engine of the Avena engine. So as you can see, this is in Avena engine 2.0, Tombs, Assets, Scene Folder 2. So let's understand how to use the tag system in the scene editor. So here we have a collection of geometries and models and stuff in Blender. We can delete these. The tag system works with collections, right? So here we're going to create a tag, which is Mesh OP. Stands for Mesh Opaque Geometry, geometry that won't have transparency. We're going to start importing random geometry. Now we're going to start organizing this random geometry, but before we organize them, the scene editor doesn't know what each model is, the name of each model. So as you import stuff, you should give it a name, right? For example, this cube here is called box1 obj. You should also give it the name of the extension of the model. This is ground obj. If that is correct here. Yeah, that seems correct here. If you don't want to put the name here every time you import something, then you should consider putting the name before you export it from the original model, essentially. The reason you need to put the extension is because if we go to any other scene right here, this is what the exported file will be. See, so you can see we have a prefix and then the name of the model, which would be the name of the model and its extension. This is why you need to add the extension. Okay, let's organize this. Before we organize it, we're gonna start establishing the geometry. Not the geometry, the material data. Okay, let's organize the scene. So we already have all our models that we're going to use for this scene imported, right? So let's start organizing. Okay, so we finished our scene and we're done with whatever it is. Now we're gonna think about organization. All of these geometry are opaque. This is why they're under the Mesh OP tag. As you can see, they're under here. Don't worry so much about the numbers when you see duplication. These numbers are used inside of the scene editor to determine how many of these are duplicated, right? Now let's export this scene. Okay, we're gonna give the JSON file a name. It's not a real JSON file, but it is what it is. Here we're gonna establish the location of all of this geometry. This geometry is in assets / scene / and we can determine that because, as you can see, this is the game, the engine, the game, and the game is gonna look in the assets folder in the scene In this case, it would be scene 2. Scene 2. There we go. Now we export this file. We go here, we're gonna see it down here. And as you can see, it has determined all the possible duplications of all the barrels that were used. So we used an approximation of 15 barrels. And let's check if that's true. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 10, 12, 13, 15. There's 15 barrels in the editor, and there's 15 barrels counted for here. So the only continues to have one instance of the barrel, one texture instance, and 15 reputations. All possible position skills and rotations are stored as well. Now let's see it running in the actual engine. I already wrote the code that will run the game in the engine. You can go here. And as you can see, the whole scene is within the engine. And that's how the scene editor works. It is designed to keep information of duplication and all its properties to be able to establish it back where it's supposed to be. This is not a scene editor in terms of like exporting the whole geometry with the one file. It would be too intense for the Dreamcast and the PS2 and the PC. Also, keep in mind that this must happen in object mode in Blender. You cannot do this in edit mode or it will fuck up the editor. So everything must happen in object mode, always.